baby, come to me. If you ever feel lost and you need time to rest, come over, darling, put your head.
Hey friends, I have a lot to cover with you guys today. I have the brand new release from Schoolnest. This is the classic collection, the one that is printed by Amazon. That is right here on my right. I also will have the comparison of the one I showed you before, her newest release that is currently in pre-launch for her signature collection, her Handmade edition. And this is the one with the premium paper, but that's not all. Just like the infomercial, I am going to show you a bit of a comparison, not only between these two, but also to show you the differences between the last year's layout, because everybody always wants to know, okay, but I kind of got stuck on this one and I really like it. And so you can see the changes and why those changes were made as well. There's just some tweaks here and there. And if you are interested in the complete rundown of every single Schoolnest planner that there has been, because they're all available with the Classic Collection Amazon edition, I have a video for that already for you guys too. And that will be linked down below. Your lukewarm drinks, friends, let's get started.
Maybe there's a version of me left that doesn't feel afraid of what comes next.
Hey friends, welcome back. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Arlene with Arlene & Company. I'm here with another launch date. Megan so graciously sent this my way to share with all of you. You know how we do. Grab that lukewarm drinks. You may need a snack. This is going to be a mega comparison, friends. Homeschool lesson planning notebook. This is the paper bloom in blue. This is the big boy. This is the one that has the daily pages and has the extra journaling pages. So if that's what you're looking for, this is your friend. This is the guy. You will notice that currently the Minimalist is the one that is available. Now I know it doesn't say Minimalist because this is her Handmade collection, her signature collection. So it doesn't say that, but as I said in the previous video where I walked through very detailed video of this one, this is the Minimalist design. At this time, and she's working with an alternative right now, and if you're in the Schoolnest notebook planning group, why did I just, the name, the actual official name just like escaped me. Anyways, there's a Schoolnest planning notebook, whatever, Facebook group. And this is in premium paper. If you can see, this looks thicker than normally a Minimalist planner would look like. Why is that, friends? That's because we're talking about a heavier weight paper. It is thicker. It's gonna be, you know, a little bit chunkier. So right now, the big boy is not available in her Handmade collection and her signature collection. It was like half a ream. It's too big. It's obscene, like it's bigger than a phone book. And this guy is already a big boy. So an alternative for the Handmade collection is in the works, planning, whatever. People are voting. Go ahead and join the group so you can chat more about that. So right now, right at this present time, the only way you can get the big boy is from Amazon, from her Amazon store. All right, so this is the one that's printed from Amazon. So I just wanted to clarify that because there were some questions on that, even though I stated that this was minimalist. This is the Minimalist design, and the Handmade collection was currently available. This cover, the paper bloom and blue and in peach, is now also available in the Handmade collection. So if you love this cover, but you want the premium paper, you can get it. Make sure you catch it on this pre-launch because the next one won't be till later. This is a 12-month, 52 weeks undated planner. Let's talk about the cover first, because I think this is one of the things that people will notice first, and you may notice something and think the wrong thing. So I want to point this out. If you're used to the Amazon notebooks printed, know that they're printed on demand. So you may not be affected by this quite yet because it depends if they've rolled over to their new covers, but they are both laminated, friends. It's just different. It's a different one. This is a waxy. This is like the previous year. This is more waxy, and this is a matte laminate. Now, let me explain, because you're like, oh, are you sure? Listen, I had a smudge on mine. Yep, it happens. This one cleans off very easily too. So if you previous design, it cleans off really nicely. I had a smudge on mine, not a big deal. I took a little bit of dab of water and I wiped it right off. Comes right off. no buckling, no nothing. These are matte laminates. It's just like a smoother feel and not waxy like this one. So Amazon, I don't know that they have switched in every location as of yet, because people are still getting 2 different versions when they're even ordering the older ones. So just know they're both laminated, it's just different. So this is more waxy, this is more smooth, both protected. This actually feels, this cover, the new covers that they're doing now, feels a tad bit thicker than this one, just like a tad. I mean, I could feel the weight and it just feels thicker to me. Just something that to point out. Okay, so you have big boy binding. So you have that perfect bound book, beautiful, looks great on your shelf, and it's supported. So they do really well. You know, with coil, you have to worry about like protecting it and stuff. If you stand it up, that's always like a concern, no matter which one you use. Here's the back cover. As you can see, unlike the signature collection, there is no barcode, but this is Amazon, so there will be a barcode. So here's the back of it. This paper you see sticking out is something I added to the planner, so yours won't look like that. I'll show you what that is, and then obviously when a setup video in the future, you can see that. If you're interested in seeing how I've set these up as my record keeper before in previous years, I will link the playlist down below for Schoolnest, and you can find those there. Yes, I'll have another setup video as well with the Handmade edition. All right, so here is your new, I love the new logo. What do you guys think? I love it. I think it's coconut water. Friends, listen, I lose my voice 1,000 times a day. I have issues with my voice box and all that stuff. Anyways, you have an introduction page which breaks down, I'll let you look at that for a second, breaks down every page count and all that jazz. We're gonna go over through every page, so there's no need for me to read this all to you. The vision board is something that I have always used as my t-shirt dashboard, and you can see that in my setup videos of what that looks like. But this can look like 1,000 different things for you. One of the first things I want you guys to notice is that, look friends, the pages are numbered. I love that. I love that that crossed over from the signature collection to the classic, especially you know, if you're a bullet journal type of person, you're used to those page numbers. So if you want to add like one of these pages to be an index like this one, then you can definitely do that because the pages are numbered. I mean, you could have done it before too, but it's cool that they have that there. Then you have the vision board that is a dedicated space, and then you have the note pages. You can see, well. And yes, I wanted to see, I have accessories like from EC and different planners and stuff like that, if they fit on the coil fine, and as you can see, yes they do. You can see a really quick glance of the breakdown. This still has a vision board, still has the note pages, so your main difference is going to be those daily pages and that additional end of week reflection. That is going to be your main difference between the Minimalist, which is what is currently available in the Handmade collection, the Minimalist, and the Big Boy. Okay, you have the two note pages that you can do whichever you like. You will notice a difference here, and this is one of the first changes that you will notice from previous years. You have the calendar page here, which you can do for whether you're just marking off holidays, days, weeks off, whatever it may be. And then you'll notice here that on the field trips and events that the boxes are much lighter. So let's take a closer look at that. And the reason for that, let me explain that. And this is something I've always discussed every single year. The way that I used it, I didn't write a calendar all over again. I used this as a list, and that's what it isn't like the intention is. Now, if you choose to do it differently, totally okay. But the intention is that you can list things. So the boxes are there as a guide, so you're not writing like slanted. You remember, we always needed lines. But you can just list things out. So on the 27th, we went to the museum, or on the 17th, we went to whatever, and you can just list things out in events in that manner. You can still label them by months or however you like, but that's why this box is, these grids are lighter than this side, is so you can write in a more narrative form or in just like in a line. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Obviously you see that the paper color is different. You can only get the cream paper in the nature series. So if you want cream paper, you need to choose one of the nature covers. If you want stark white paper, then you have the option of having this paper bloom in blue or paper bloom in peach. And that is also available in the Handmade collection. So know that these will have the white paper. If you order the blue one or the peach, is going to have the white paper, not cream. That's only in the nature series. That is a special nature series bonus. All right, you have a daily tracker. So if you're tracking for your attendance, anything like that, maybe you're required to do that for your homeschool, you can do that. If you're in a state that doesn't require attendance tracking, then the reason she labeled it as a daily tracker instead of attendance or something like that is that it's versatile and you can use it to track something else. And then you can see here, you can have a box where you can just abbreviate the month, and then it goes all the way down to 31, and you have two spreads of that. The next thing you will see is the progress tracker. These are my favorite. Let's look at some comparison of the previous design. And this is one that I didn't use because I used the weekly planning one. You see the grids were the same, daily tracker, and it's in a different order. All right, so this is the progress tracker before. So I'm going to show you right there, side by side, and this is now. I love the cleaner look. I love the fonts in this one. I've always loved the more of the cursive fonts when she does it, and I love the cleaner look. I did always appreciate the banners because it was a chance for me to color those in, but I do like just the cleaner lines and stuff like that. I love the minimalist look of it. All right, so each of these box here, and if you've never used them before, it goes through 1 through 180. So the idea behind this, now you don't have to use it this way, I'm just gonna tell you. The idea behind this, let's pretend you're doing your math curricula and it has 36 lessons, or it has 180 lessons, whatever it may be. You can shade those in, check those off, cross it off, however you like to do, so you can track your progress exactly as it's named. So if you have a goal to finish or be at a certain lesson by a certain amount of time, then you can see where you are visually in that arena. Now, if you have curricula that don't necessarily have these things, like lesson numbers or something like that, you can just, decide, okay, this unit is going to take this many days or whichever not, and then color it in a different way. Now, the progress trackers has different layouts. So you have the traditional one that she has that is already numbered for you, and then there's one that is blank. So you can label this a little bit differently. So the next two spreads are that way. Then you have lists and plans. Organize a list of seasonal studies, curriculum by subjects, activities, and such. So this is what we saw before. So I'm showing you the side-by-side comparison of the previous design first, and then we talk about the difference of the Handmade collection. Layouts are the same, so I don't want to do a side-by-side comparison of that. But on here, you will see these pages were the ones that you can list out what curricula you were using for each student, for each subject, for each term. However, some people printed the little pictures of their curriculum and pasted it on here. However they like to do, that was that previous design. Now it kind of gives you a little bit, and before it has, so she added back the label to give you an idea of what this was intended for. Doesn't mean you have to use it that way, but that's the intention. All right, so list and plans, and that continues on. You have more space for that. So I always had them by season. So I had fall, winter, spring, and then future plans. That's how I did mine. Then you have two spreads for the book list. I always love these pages. Not much difference in the book spread. Actually, like this line is just darker, so, and obviously the font in this book is different. So just to let you know, and then you have several of those pages. Here's another one of my post-it notes. And then you have your months. Now the months are numbered now. That doesn't mean that this has to be like a certain, like one doesn't mean January. They're numbered. So the first month of school, the second month of school, or whatever. So you can keep track that way. Or if you're keeping track of weeks, it just makes it easier. I love that she added that little touch there. because before you didn't have that. I mean, obviously it's just a small thing, but I appreciate it. And this is the monthly layout before, this is it now. So instead of this shaded little circle spot here for putting in the numbers, you have a very subtle, and I'm going to bring you in close. If you see the box, you see the grids, and then the box here is empty. So that is your space to put in your number. And then again, just a beautiful little clean, very clean. That's what, like, I want to say this year's layout is just very clean, but with a pretty font that just kind of softens it. So it's not just like stark and just like, you know, I don't know. It just softens it for me when you add the cursive font. Okay, now you have the plan and reflect page. And on the sidebar here, you see 1 through 31. So you can list things if you have appointments as you are planning your week or anything you have. So before, this is plan and reflect after each month. So you pages where you can plan out the month. So what she did was she added these numbers here on the side to like further help you write down any specific events, birthdays, whatever it may be that you need to keep in mind as you're planning your homeschool. And it doesn't really take away from space or anything like that. You still have this great amount of space. You have the label, but you still have a great amount of space to map out and do any kind of brainstorming you want to do. Okay. So that's how that follows. And you have 12 months of that. And that's how you'll see it follows that. And then you see like they're all numbered. All right, so let's skip over. Once you're done with your monthly, your 12 monthlies and the ending with the plan and reflect, the first thing you'll see is your weekly overview. And this, friends, you know how I flatten these out. And then by a while, it just lays pretty flat like here. I mean, not flat, it's not a flat lay. You can see that? That's pretty flat, friends. And I will work in the beginning pages. The beginning page is a little harder in the end, especially as you start adding stuff, but it's still very possible. Like, so if you're concerned with that. So on your weekly overview page, this is what it used to, last year's design was. You had the box here on the right. They were much larger and more like dominant. And then you had an open flag to interpret however you like in the weekly layout, and then a black bar on the top. So that is last year. This is this year. Again, I think she maximized the space in this a lot better. I love how she has the weeks here. So if you're keeping track what homeschool week you're on, you'll be able to do that very easily right here. So if you friends are homeschooling through 52 weeks, power to you, but that's not, we stop here. But you can go ahead and label that as such. So you can see right here in the bottom. So this normally was just on your weekly planning pages. So I love that it has spilled over to the weekly overview. Now this box here is still available for you, moves over to the left, but it's less dominant. So I didn't need that big wide space. I'd rather have less here. So I like this change. I know that if for some of you, it may take a little bit getting used to, but I like that change that it's just less dominant. There is a daily tracker here. So if you're trying to do some habits, if you're someone that does like morning baskets or whatever, or you know, certain type of things, that's not my vibe, but you can mark it off here and just check off. Or if you're trying to do like for older students, you're trying to make sure they do their Spanish lessons every single day, you can check those off. Or if you're just using as a personal planner too, you can use that as well. All right, so this is the main big difference. So now I am going to show you very quickly the layout from the signature collection, because this is the other layout, and this one is called 7 vertical columns, and I have a 40 weeks here. You can get it with more weeks as well. That is another option. So here is this option that you can get in the signature collection. In the Amazon collection, the classic, it is only the 6x6 grid. This is the one you get. There's not a multiple layout option. So that is one of the biggest difference, is if you really had your heart set on the 7x7 layout, you need to do this one or one of the weekly planners that don't have the onboarding pages for Homeschool is not Homeschool specific if you were sticking to the Amazon one. All right, so just know that this is the one that is available in the Classic Collection, printed by Amazon. So you have weekly plan, you have the months here up top, you have the months there, and then you can fill that in there. On the side, you can put your subjects, numbers, child, whichever, however it works for you. 6 and 6. So if you do stuff on the weekend, you have space to do that as well. If you don't need that additional column, make that a to do, to prep, or whichever. Nice thing I like is that there is the bar again for the labels here on this page. So if you're looking at this side, you don't have to follow it all the way to this left side to see what subject you're looking at. And then the bars here at top. Again, we still have page numbers, which I really greatly appreciate. After that, here's the major difference, friends. Okay, so in the Minimalist, and this is the same with the peach paper blooms for the Amazon printed copy. That's the Minimalist, the paper, the peach one. The blue one is the big boy. The peach one is the Minimalist. So the Minimalist is going to be like this, not the nature designs, but it's going to have the weekly plan, then go straight to the weekly overview, weekly plan, weekly overview. There is no daily pages in between. No daily pages in between, okay? So you have daily page here, daily page there, and daily page here, and then a weekly reflection page. Now, on here, if you notice, and I'll pull out my other big boy from another year, there's these subtle dash lines where there used to be like a line right here, so you can just like, this is a day, that's a day. Now it's subtle, so if you choose to break this up a little bit differently, you can, because that line is not, forcing you to lay it out that way. So it's just a subtle little dash dotted line where before, open a blank page. Now this is not last year. Let's see, because towards the end I always switch planners. That's just how it is. All right, it's a solid line. All right, so it's a solid line. So that's the layout before, and this is what it looks like now. You have the weekly reflection page. Then it starts over. Weekly overview, daily tracker. So in the Minimalist, this is what you will see. Weekly overview, daily tracker, your 6x6 grid, then it will be weekly overview again. These pages are not there. All right, so let's skip over this because we're done with that. And again, this is a 55-pound paper, so this is not like cheap copy paper either. So I've done numerous pen tests over the years, and I've showed you how well you can do with so many different mediums with it. So it's not like, oh, it's absolutely something I cannot work with. Many have been working with it for years. So if this is what is in your budget, know that this is still a great option, and with a beautiful cover. All right, so let's get to the last of the weekly reflections for the end of your 52 weeks. You're going to reflect on the year, and you're gonna have 2-page spreads. These are grid as well. I love series, so it obviously has more design on it, but this is what it looks like in the Handmade edition. Just so you can see a little bit, same thing though. Reflect on the year, reflect on the year. Little friend is right there. I love it. You see the page counts, 491 at this point, friends. So just know, and that's not, with the extra cover and all that stuff. But she is coming up with another plan for those that need more journaling. So now that we had a comparison at the same time of the previous design and this design, just you guys can see the difference, right? This is Minimalist, this is Big Boy, this is from previous year. You can see what the tweaks in the designs and what the page layouts difference were. So I hope that was helpful for those of you that, kind of really fall in love with one layout and are like, okay, well, how much did it change? It's just tweaks here and there, and I hope that was very clear for you. Have more questions, please let me know. All right, so let's talk about signature in more detail with the Amazon, and then we'll do a pen test, and let's wrap this. Obviously, the first difference, this is coil. Now, if you want a very detailed, comprehensive walkthrough with the pen test, of this one, go ahead and look in the description box below. I already walked through this. I'm just going to talk about the stark differences of what you would get if you invest in the Handmade edition versus the Amazon, and to help you decide in your little journey. So obviously with the coil, you have options. Some people, like such as myself, like I can't wait till the day that she's able to do book bound on her own. Maybe that will be a while from now, because that's an investment in supplies and stuff. But I'm a book bound girl. I love book bound. But coil has a lot of benefits. Like I said, I was able to add stuff to it. So there is going to be a little bit of color with your cover page inside, especially depending on which cover that you get. So this is the nature series. So you have the cream paper. This, you have the white paper. You have two options of weekly layouts, the 7 vertical or the 6x6 grid. So whereas in the Amazon, you only have one option for the planner layout. That is the same one for the Minimalist and the Big Boy, just so you know. You can add clips if you have leftovers from other planners. You have that as well. I have another one in here. I was experimenting all kinds of stuff. I have another one here, but the biggest difference is obviously the paperweight. This is a 70-pound premium paper. This is Amazon printed 55. Okay, so they can handle very different things. This paper has more grit to it, what we call more tooth. It's not as smooth. So if you appreciate more of a smoother paper, more smooth writing experience, this will have that. But because this has more grit to it, is forgiving for the paperweight. Not saying like this, you guys saw how well it performed. But because this has grit, it is forgiving with a lot of pens and even some markers, because it has that added tooth to it. So that's a good thing. So it makes it workable. So here you had progress tracker, and we had the progress tracker with the numbers and then the blank ones, and that was done with the progress tracker. In the Handmade collection, you have the same thing. Like I said, it's almost identical, the design interiorly, except for the quality. You have progress tracker with the numbers, then the blank, and then you have these bonus ones for whichever you like to use it. You can invent it in any way you like. So that's one of the differences. I showed you before. If this bugs you for whatever reason, I mean, I don't think it's bugs people for years, but just to point out, there's no barcode here. So there's a barcode here. Another thing from the Amazon one. Now, if you must have, just as is, the Big Boy, that's not available in the Handmade collection at this time, okay? I did add a sheet protector in the back of it. So that's what you've been seeing sticking out, because it's not its size. This is something from Oak Meadow, just so I look and plan ahead. But I snapped this in. If you can see, I just split from old planners. I would keep my sheet protectors because I always need more than one. Now I will tell you, if I can add like another sheet protector and I can still turn it okay. Adding too many makes it a little bit funky because they don't fit perfectly. Now, if they fit perfectly, I think they would do wonderful to add multiple, but because they don't, it kind of messes it up a little bit. But I just split them and then press this in, and now I have a sheet protector in this planner that I can add additional papers or anything I'm working with, and I can add bookmarks, and I can add post-its, and I can add all kinds of stuff, and different things. So I would love to see her come out with these things maybe in the future. Obviously small shop, just starting off, but let's do a pen test. And so I did a detailed pen test last time, and you saw this in detail. You can see a timestamp if you are just interested in seeing it in slow, like, you know, narrative form of how this paper did, the 70 pound paper. I want to keep saying 75 for some reason. It's not 75. All right, so versus this one, and let's do this one real quick. All right, so let's pick a page right here and do most of the same ones because let's be consistent, and let's do this fairly quickly. No reason to dilly-dally, but here is, that helps. Yes, I still use my oak metal pen. All right, this is oak metal pen. This is ballpoint. Ballpoint is gonna be your safest bet in like basically any planner. It's just and it sucks it in. It works really well. See, no shadowing, no ghosting. Everybody loves these peppermint flares. I could care less about them. I bought them for you guys. Because everybody's like, oh, can you please test it? See, works great. A tiny bit of ghosting. Now again, this is the stark white paper. Now if I did peppermint flare in the cream paper, it looks a little bit different. Looks a little different. Then next we had here, just showing you right there, had micron on my artist lovers there. Yes, I am rough with it because it's thick. A little bit of ghosting, and I'll show you the back of this. Actually, I'll show you right now. You can't see it at all. There's a little bit of ghosting here. Obviously, it's a thinner paper, and this is those heavyweight markers that I used that did bleed, not bleed, but they did, yeah, they bled through a little bit. But those are like super heavy. All right, so that's the micron. Then I had, let's do mile liner. Keep picking up more than one page. So again, not bad at all. Here are my favorite Awaii markers. These are from Jet Pens. Last I checked, Amazon did not have them. I bought them from Jet Pens. And these are very, very saturated. They are my favorite. Look how rich that color looks. Look at that. It's just so gorgeous. I love it. Very little. You can see a little ghosting. Not a big deal at all in my book, friends. Of course, I'm also a Hobonichi user, so that Tomo River paper is, you know, something that you ghost and you appreciate. But look, this is the same spot where those highlighters are. And I just want to show you how that looks. So you see a little bit of shadowing, no bleed through, but then you don't see them here. Like if you, I have lights shining down. I can see a little bit if I force myself to see it from there. Okay. And then let's test okay, you guys are gonna make me do this again. Let's do the gel pens that we know they're gonna fail because gel pens suck. Okay, I know. Somebody's gonna come and throw eggs at me and tell me, I love gel pens. Okay, these are the worst. These are jelly rolls. They're so saturated. We're gonna do it. Okay. All right. See, this was working before and then now it's trying to die. All right, so this is jelly roll. Someone said they were trying to die of embarrassment. That was funny. Yeah, I mean, that had a little bit of time to dry. They don't show through at all. But these, oh gosh, I hate them. I'm just gonna. Yeah, they smudge a little bit. You have to let gel pens dry, all right? If you must use a gel pen, you can, you know. I always like, I didn't show you a mechanical pencil last time. I forgot that, but I just wanted to show you. Oh, such a smooth experience. I love that. Just love that. Anyways, just show you a little bit of just how pencil looks on it. It's nice. I like that. All right, so let's do the ones that are usually like, oh, do the real stuff, Arlene. All right, so a thick marker here. See? Like I said, this paper performs fairly well. Now you're gonna see the major difference is that you see a little bit of ghosting here. You're not gonna have that. For the exception of this pen, there's no ghosting on the signature paper. Really isn't. Really, really isn't. All right, so, and this is the fine, just to be thorough. All right, now this one was the burn one. And I did the heavy hand again, so that's gonna bleed through. Wait for it. There it is. All right. So it's just, don't use these. That's it. Don't use these. Now, I know a lot of questions have been asked about fountain pens. Ask Megan. She has tested her own fountain pen and has performed beautifully on the premium paper. Has performed beautifully on that. My fountain pen was misplaced in the move. I could have sworn my daughter had it, but she doesn't. And I'm not trying to buy that again because I'm never going to use it. So it was misplaced. So it is what it is. Now to see some colors, because, you know, we draw on our planner because these are journal, just so you can see the texture difference. Okay, look at the smoothness. So this is the same color pencil. You see the smoothness. You don't see the much, you don't see the same texture. So you see how you see a lot of more texture on here. So if you're coloring in, you're gonna kind of get like a cleaner look. Right, some stock marks. So have the, sorry, children live here. You're hearing all kinds of sounds. And again, that has more texture to it. Whereas here we had more of a smooth look because it's a smooth paper. It's a smoother paper, not too smooth. These doodads that I love. So look at the huge difference here. These are the same kind right here. These block crayons. Look how smooth it looks here, and look at all the texture here. This may be absolutely fine for you, but if you're looking for a more smooth look, then that's your premium paper. Now here you're gonna have more of that, almost like when you're coloring construction paper. It doesn't feel like construction paper, but almost like when coloring construction paper, you have that more texture look, okay? So there's that. Do you wanna add some water to it? Why not? Let's torture Megan. Let's do some Neo colors. And, okay, can somebody count how many times they've heard the door slam? Just count for me. Count and let me know. Okay, so that's what I did here. You can see much smoother. Now let's add some water, because why not? The things I do. All right, See, it's not bad. Like even this one, like this one had like, you cannot see it. Like, can you see that? No. There's no shadowing at all. No bleed through, no ghost. See, and nothing, if you notice in both, nothing feathers either. So the one that to me performed the worst is like the jelly roll, and obviously this, which why would you use this on your planner? Just don't do that. Don't do that. But this one, obviously there's considerable ghosting. I mean, I literally added water to paper that is not meant as watercolor. But here is a close-up of the back of this. So you can see, obviously this is the watercolor. This is the bad marker. And then here is the shadowing, but no bleed through except for this one. And then let's look at the back of this one, of the signature collection. Again, I have a light shining right through it. So here are markers. That's a little bit of ghosting you see. But here's my side by side. Nothing bleeds through except for the bad marker. We shall always name it the bad marker. So here's a side by side comparison for both. So you can see if, yes, I definitely want this premium paper. This is worth it to me. I don't like to see any ghosting or very minimal, then, you know, go ahead and order a handmade one, which I still think is very budget friendly. But hurry before the pre-launch closes. But this is now available on Amazon. You're like, you know what? I appreciate that worn look of when you use a journal and it's just well loved and written in, and you love that look. I'm one of those people, so this doesn't bother me at all. And I think this performs really, really well for a 55-pound paper. I think that's really good. So there's your differences. You saw the differences in layouts between last year and this year. We saw the differences between what you get between your signature collection, that couple little bonus pages and stuff. But other than that, it is the same. Obviously, this is the minimalist, so it doesn't have the daily pages. And this is your big boy. This comes, again, to recap, this comes in the blue paper bloom and peach paper bloom. The handmade edition comes in the sage and the cream, this color planner as well. So if you don't like the sage, you can do the lighter one. This is not the cover, this is the previous year. It also comes in the paper bloom new collection. It comes in the handmade edition. All minimalist planners at this time though, all minimalist planners. So if you're looking at this one, you're getting minimalist planners and 2 layout options for your weekly. This one only comes in a 6x6. All right, that is all, friends. Thank you for hanging out with me. Have questions, just comments. Love hanging out with me. You were doing some chores, teaching your kids in between, whatever you were doing, let me know down in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this if you found it helpful. Greatly appreciate you supporting my channel. And as always, thank you, Megan, for sending this my way. I hope I didn't make you too nervous this time. I mean, I could have been more brutal. I feel like I just let you off easy a little bit. Maybe I need to get some acrylic paint, Bella. Can we paint this with acrylic? Do you think it will do it? She's looking at me like I'm nuts. All right, that's all. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.